Nah, don't say that, man. Go to the movie theater and watch the movie with a rabbit suit on. That's an inside joke. Sitting next to two white people eating popcorn. That's Baloo. Hey, man, I found that picture. I ain't thinking about it. Look, I said, man, that's Baloo right there, man. Him going to 14th Street. He said, I'm going to go to the movies, man.
That's something he would do, too. He's always... Oh, cut. Yeah, Baloo is always playing hooky. He's always playing hooky from doing the work.
I got something real quick.
Yeah, good.
Isaiah 21:8. It says, and he cried, a lion, my Lord. I stand continually upon the watchtower in the daytime, and I am set in my ward whole nights. You know, so that's, back up to that other precept in Isaiah 62.
Another scripture, Jeremiah 6, verse 17. It says, also I set watchmen over you, saying, hearken to the sound of the trumpet, but they said, we will not hearken. I don't even got to explain that.
Philippians 2:12. Wherefore, my beloved, as you have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. All right, going back to the book, Ezekiel 33, 1-9. In ancient Egypt, Moses prepared Israel to avoid the Lord's judgment against Egypt when he smote the firstborn in all the land of Egypt, known today as Passover, Exodus the 12th chapter. America is spiritually the contemporary modern-day Egypt, Revelation 11:8. And likewise will receive the Lord's judgment, Revelation the 18th chapter. The fact that the true breakdown concerning the mark of the beast is being revealed and the men of the Lord are blowing a trumpet is indicative that we are rapidly approaching this monumental biblical prophecy. Undeniably, that is the charge, obligation, and responsibility of the prophets, the watchmen, Isaiah 58:1, Jeremiah 6:17-18, Joel 2:1, Amos 3:6-7. That is to say before, Latin profeta, pro before, and fetes speaker, derivative of phanai, to speak. That's where you get the word phonetic from. Greek prophetes, foreteller, prophet. Hebrew nabaya'ah, spokesman, speaker, prophet. Throughout the scriptures, the Lord power, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, speaks through his servants, the prophets. Jeremiah 25:4. The Most High being bound by his word, unable to lie. Numbers 23:19, Isaiah 55:11, Titus 1:2. Reassures us that the mark of the beast must come to pass before the destruction of America. Surely the Lord power will do nothing, but he revealed the secrets unto his servants, the prophets. Amos 3:7. A recent survey conducted by Accenture and Information Technology, IT, consulting and services company, shows half of all U.S. retailers have already adopted RFID technology, and that most retailers and suppliers will be using RFID in the near future, which they're doing that now. They went from regular credit cards, debit cards, the welfare cards and all that. Now they got chips in them. There's chips in all of those cards. You went from actual food stamp to dollars, with the funny colors on it, with the $1, $2, $5, whatever.
And I'm gonna say this too. Going back to this video, Chi-Town, Trident, Israelites Trident, what's the name? Trident Refined used to be down with us, doing their own thing now. They had a little discussion with some of the men from GOCC, and they went into the mark of the beast. And one of the guys from the GOCC said they already got the mark of the beast, which shows you that he doesn't understand he don't know what the hell he's talking about. he pulled out a smartphone and said, "This is it." Well, that means you got the mark of the beast. And the Most High, if you a man of the Most High, how in the hell you got the mark of the beast? It said that the man of the Lord wasn't going to accept the mark of the beast. Now, mind you that the smartphone has the RFID chip in it, and your credit cards and a lot of your devices. That doesn't mean you accepted the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is when you actually accept that physical chip in your right hand, in your left hand, in your butt cheek, all right, or in your forehead. That's when you have accepted it, man. Because carrying around a smartphone does not mean you have the mark of the beast, or else you'd be condemned. Why would you teach about the mark of the beast and the scripture said we're not supposed to accept it, but here you are, God, you have it, and you call yourself a man of the Lord? Don't make no sense.
Notable apparel and footwear merchandisers and stores such as Macy's, JCPenney, Bloomingdale's, and Walmart are all using RFID. RFID technology is also being employed in electronics and video gaming. The wireless controller of the Nintendo Wii U video game consoles uses RFID tags. There is speculation and belief that RFID is the new successor to Bluetooth and Wi-Fi technology, as the three are all wireless network systems utilizing radio waves. Seeing that RFID science and technology continues to expand globally in virtually all fields of life, there are now hundreds of companies around the world producing the RFID chips, such as Impinj Inc., Verichip, Bluebeam, IBM, Positive ID, and Applied Digital Solutions, just to name a few. Together with the high demand of RFID tags and chips, particularly among large retail corporations and department stores, coupled with the struggling economies and financial centers of the world, it's for certain and inevitable that the RFID meets finances very soon. The international bankers plan to scrap and discard the worthless euro and dollar, and what do you believe will replace it? When fiat currency is disposed of and eliminated, there will be what will be its substitute. The scriptures say the new standard or currency will be the mark of the beast, Revelation 13:16 through 17, and that mark is the RFID microchip. And that is the end of the 7th chapter. And now we're going to go into the summary. But that just shows you that the mark of the beast is going to be something dealing with something monetary. Because monetary is one of the biggest things, or the economy is one of the biggest things that holds an empire up. Because without finance, there is no, I was going to sing this song. Without finance, there's no, you can't pay for anything. You can't pay your soldiers to protect your home front. You can't pay, you can't pay anything. Like the song said, no romance without finance. So pretty much, that shows you that these guys that say that the mark of the beast is not the microchip, they, like Apostle Charles said earlier, they either paid off or they're blind. Which we believe that the majority of them that's teaching that were paid off, because they know better. They can read the scriptures, and they've been around long enough, to know what's what.
And then they have the true men of the Lord to go to. That's right. So they can't say they didn't know, they didn't realize it. You had the true men were there too. Huh?
All right, so this is the summary. To summarize the whole book of what is the mark of the beast is the chip. It says, although several theories, arguments, and beliefs exist as to what the mark of the beast is, Romans 16:17, 1 Corinthians 1 and 10, there is only one true sound doctrinal teaching and breakdown, 1 Timothy 4:16, Titus 2 and 1, 2 John 1 and 10. Of late, there has been much conjecture and speculation regarding the identification and nature of the mark, which at this point now, 3 years later, the voices of those that are coming against that technology and saying it's not the mark of the beast is getting very small. It says the aim, purpose, and intention of this literary work is to substantially diagnose and determine the mark in context and relation to the scriptures via a well-constructed and thorough analysis of biblical laws. historical references, precepts, and etymology, and to distinguish the correct teachings from false, distorted doctrines. Let us briefly review and recap in essence the themes, topics, and subject matter previously detailed through a short synopsis that the reader might fully understand and be persuaded, Romans 14:5, that the mark of the beast is nothing other than the RFID chip. The fundamental basis of the RFID chip is founded upon radar technology advances, used principally and primarily as a surveillance tool to track and monitor. The device is being widely used in a vast variety of industries and business sectors. This small instrument, known as the RFID chip or microchip, is implanted or inserted into a person or object by incision. And when you read the scriptures, when you look up certain words, it tells you this. It's an incision that you have to make in order to put this mark inside of you. The significance of this is that the mark of the beast is a physical mark pertaining to the corporal body, as opposed to the distinguished and distinct form of a mental, spiritual, philosophical, or ideological entity. As a matter of fact, the Greek word found in the book of Revelation is charagma, meaning an imprinted mark, a thing carved, sculpted, or graven. This act is in violation of the same nature as the mark identified in Leviticus 19:28. The mark of the beast ought not to be confused nor mistaken with the mark located in Ezekiel 9:4 and Romans 16:17. As the scriptures indicate, the mark will be introduced by means of the beast, Revelation 13 chapter. The beast is the return, revival, and restoration of the ancient Roman Empire, Revelation 13:3, recognized today as a European Union, pursuant to...
You read about the ancient Roman Empire. That's the image. When you go back to the scripture, matter of fact, when you go back to Revelation 13, because the image is not no damn Caesar Borgia.
This is the book of
Caesar Borgia.
Caesar Borgia. This is Romans 13:1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear. It says, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. So now this beast that had the 7 heads notices is a red beast. Those are Edomites. And it has 7 heads, which are the 7 major empires of Esau, the so-called white man, beginning with the Greeks, all right, and ending with the British. And then the 8th head of that beast, so to speak, is America, right? It says, and it has 10 horns and crowns upon those horns. And those 10 horns represent what used to be called the EEC, or the European Economic Community, which now is called the European Union, which were confederate with the ancient Roman Empire. Those are different city-states or countries that fought hand in hand with the ancient Roman Empire. Now they're all coming back today as a revival, through those same European countries, through Rome, through Britain, through America, and that whole union that they have, consisting of the European Union and NATO. It says, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. That's dealing with the Greeks, beginning with Alexander the Great. And his feet were as the feet of a bear, because the bear represents the bear is Russia, and the bear represents the end of the beast. And what's going to bring the end of this whole society is the bear, which is Russia. It said, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the mouth of a lion represents Britain, because really America gets their marching orders from Britain. They're the ones that's controlling the shots, because that's where and they're using the Queen as a front, but it's really the Rothschilds behind the scenes that are controlling and manipulating everything on the planet. It says, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And that dragon is what? The Roman Empire. That's where they got their power from. So now it's going to go into it. It says, and I saw one of his heads as they were wounded to death. And when did that happen? Beginning around 180, with Marcus Aurelius, Commodus, and Septimius Severus and the rest of those different emperors, and really coming to its fullness around 325 A.D. when Constantine, the so-called Great, sat upon the throne, and that's when the Roman Empire was pretty much down. It was down, and for a period of 1,000 years, Jake was ruling all throughout Europe, and after that 1,000-year period, that's when they came back into power.
Yeah, the pagan Roman Empire was destroyed, and what you had was the so-called Holy Roman Empire, which was Jake ruling for about 1,000 years, and then you had the Borgias came in there, and and pretty much took over. Esau started ruling from then.
Yep. It says, and his deadly wound was healed, and that's when it was healed, starting around 1325. Going into the late 13 and into the 1400s.
Also, Elder Apostle Tar brought out something called the Age of Discovery, when you had all these devils that worked in tandem with the Borgias and then later the Rothschilds to totally take over the world. You had these so-called expeditionists, Vasco da Gama and Pizarro, and Hernando Cortez and Christopher, was that Ponce de Leon, and most notably Christopher Columbus, Cristobal Colon. They were all working to bring this devil kingdom into being. Yeah,
because this was what they were gonna launch, the New World Order from this place here, which they knew of. Everybody knew about this side of the world. Just not everybody came over to this side of the world. So this was, they figured this was a perfect place to set up, to gain control of the whole entire world. And that's the purpose and intent and the reason why America was set up, was to take over the whole world and set up this so-called New World Order. All right, it says, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered. And then his deadly wound was healed, as we were just saying, through the bubonic and the pneumonic plague, the papacy being taken over by Rodrigo Borgia, the different empires within Europe being taken down by Esau, the so-called white man.
Iconoclasm.
Yep, iconoclasm, the defacing of images.
Yep, help heal his deadly wound. Because his deadly wound was he was put in slavery. Yep. When iconoclasm came into being, that helped put him on top. All of a sudden now, all his images are being plastered all over. And what they did was destroy the original image and just put their images.
Right. It said, and this is what happened after that took place. And all the world wondered after the beast. And they...
The main one they're wondering after is Caesar Borgia. Right. His image. He done conquered the world with his image.
Yep. That was the new face.
Go ahead.
That was the new face of the rulers of the world.
Right.
It says, and they worshipped the dragon, which gave him power. That gave power unto the beast, and that dragon is what? The Roman Empire.
Yeah, like I said, the image is not Caesar Borgia. The image is the system, the Roman system, the Senate, and so forth.
That's why it says, and they worship the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, because that's where they got the power from the Roman Empire. That's where the amalgamation. Even today, to this day, what happened? How did America and all this stuff? How was it all set back up into power? Through the Club of Rome, through the Treaty of Rome. Everything stemmed back to the ancient Roman Empire, but today is known as a new Roman Empire. Really being spearheaded by America, because everything that America says or does is basically law in NATO, in the EU, and all of that. Because this is the spearhead, of that lance, so to speak, of the New World Order. It says